Lewis in Hollywood. Thank you, Heather Hammond. Hello, Lewis. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Mr. President, welcome home.
Thank you, sir.
Leo, yesterday saw what...
I flew Nerd Force One.
Yesterday saw what might be unique in California history. Just for our friends in other parts of the country, Interstate 15 is the major thoroughfare between Las Vegas and Southern California. And yesterday, a brush fire in the El Cajon Pass jumped the southbound lanes, resulting in a chain reaction of car and truck fires.
We got Hap Harper up here in the sky. Hap, what's going on down there on the 15?
Yeah. It was scary, and no one had ever seen anything like it.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah, and fortunately no one was hurt. But one of the main stories to come out of this was that efforts by 3 firefighting agencies were stalled for 20 minutes by 4 or 5 privately owned drones.
Oh, no.
And you've been...
Oh, they're flying drones to get the story.
They depend hugely on water drops by helicopters. They even have DC-10s that drop fire retardant. And they all were grounded for 20 minutes. And
I would have just flown over the drones and dropped it. Why did the drones ground them?
Well, they were flying above, they were flying in the flight paths of the helicopters and the...
I guess there's a risk, isn't it? I mean...
They can't take a chance.
Yeah.
A 15 or a 20-pound drone can bring down a helicopter.
That's horrible. That's exactly why the FAA has been looking into this, but they have yet to come up with a good solution.
Well, that's why I'm calling you. You've been dealing with technology and the law for a long, long time. What do you think the solution is? And this isn't the first time in California in the last month. This is the 3rd or 4th time that drones have interfered with firefighting.
That's really awful. And you know what? It's an extension of the whole paparazzi thing, right? You can't, I mean, as you know, you live in L.A., you can't go down the street and there's a gaggle of photographers on motorcycles and mopeds and scooters running around, and it's hazardous. I think there's a good case to be made that that's what killed Princess Diana, is she was being chased by paparazzi. So this is nothing new. These drones are a new kind of technology. The FAA has looked into it. They've promulgated rules that say that commercial flight is illegal. There's all these rules, but they haven't regulated non-commercial, and there's a big problem in general anyway. The FAA has no enforcement arm. There's no FAA police, no Federal Aviation Administration police to come and arrest you. So in a drone, it's hard to even know who owns that drone. So one solution that's interesting, remember the drone that landed in the White House in the middle of the night? Some drunk Defense Department worker was showing off his drone. Hey, man, watch this. And lost control of it, and it flew over the White House fence into the White House, which is, of course, terrifying. This guy was just a drunk, but what if, And the company that made the drone, DJI, they make the Phantoms. They're one of the biggest companies. They have GPSs in their drones, and they have firmware. And their solution to this was to actually modify the firmware of the drone so it couldn't fly in Metro D.C. Now, I think there was a problem with it. I think they actually pulled it back. But that would be one, sort of an electronic leash. But I don't know, but you don't know ahead of time that you need to block that area over I-15. So I think what we need to do is arm the populace with beanbag cannons or something. You can't shoot them with a gun because the bullet's going to go somewhere. But a beanbag, just some beanbags, beanbag cannons. You shoot them at the drones. Can somebody get to work on that? Maybe we could start a Kickstarter or something. I don't know. Maybe, and somebody untoward in the chat room has a good idea. Mandatory transponders on the drones so you can identify the owner-operator. That's a great idea. I bet you that does happen. So at least you know who's doing it. And I think that would encourage responsibility. That's not a bad idea. I myself am not a risk for this. Every time I've flown a drone, it's flown into a bush or a tree or a wall, and that's it.